Hi, welcome to a short video clip on the three stages of faith that I think most will find universally applicable to nearly any faith. My name is Taylor Holsinger, and I just happen to be a gospel doctrine teacher for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints here in my local ward in Southern California. And all over the world, those of my faith at least are studying the Old Testament this year, and as part of my preparation, I love to listen to Jared Halverson's Unshaken podcast. And not just me, I think there are about 60,000 other gospel doctrine nerds tuning in to listen to Jared each week as we prepare to teach. And in January's lesson on the fall from Genesis chapters 3 and 4, Jared discussed the stages of faith, which I listened to. And as I listened, I thought of one of my favorite Disney's movies, namely The Lion King, which I think wonderfully frames a number of truths. So I want to make sure to acknowledge Jared, one of the very great voices teaching gospel truths and working to strengthen the faith of thousands. So then the first stage, or the creation of our faith, begins as portrayed here, where everything in our lives is simple and straightforward. Everything is crystal clear. It's important for children to start here. It's where we feel secure and safe with the world around us. Parents know everything. Doctors can always fix everything. Authority figures and the internet can always be trusted. But in stage 2, we start to test the boundaries of our faith. And we stray from the protection of our parents. And things start to get a little messy. And the safety and security we once felt gives way to the terrible reality that everything isn't quite as clear and simple as we thought. We become more open-minded, which is good, but we also become much more cynical about who we can trust. And for some, it causes them to question everything, including parents who once seemed to know everything, who now just seem like helpful idiots. Parents are replaced by friends as the center of trust. Parents don't know what they're talking about. Doctors are just guessing. Authority figures are largely corrupt and in it for themselves. Everything good is fake. Unfortunately, a lot of people stall here in stage 2, not realizing that there is a stage 3 ahead, where things start to fall back into place. You've outgrown being naive as to the simplicity of stage 1, but you've also moved past the cynicism of stage 2. And you're able to now see a much larger framework into which all the messiness and pain and disappointment has meaning. And now you can see that parents, while not perfect, really did the best that they could. And doctors, also not perfect, but incredibly well trained. And authority figures, most certainly not perfect, but there are checks and balances in place. The third stage is obviously the best place to be. And at some point, you realize how you've always known these truths that come to nearly all of us. In summary, this is the arc of eternity for most of our spiritual faith progression, beginning at the creation stage again, where things are simple, safe, secure, but at some point you partake of the tree of knowledge. And in doing so, things are no longer so simple. And the fall stage is really where things are going to fall apart, especially when you're in the midst and your only perspective that's available to you is the present, the hypocrisies, the contradictions, along with looking back to the simple innocence of your stage 1. But you're not able to look ahead to how all of the complexity and imperfections come together for a much fuller and more meaningful life. Those in stage 2 may start by feeling nostalgia for their simple faith, and then can become bitter that things are not as simple as they had been led to believe. They are angry and have only unkind things to say about those still in the faith, and they feel lied to and betrayed until at some point they realize that while we can't go back, there is a way forward. They just can't see yet how much better the next stage, the atonement stage, is than the creation stage that they wish they could go back to. This is one of the defining signs of the time we live in now, and we see so many struggle here because the adversary has some very powerful information or misinformation tools that are much more divisive on a grander scale than were available to previous generations, and that's drawing people from stage 1 to stage 2 much earlier. And so we see the ranks of this stage swelling at a faster rate than had happened in previous generations. But what we can do is, at least for those that are struggling in stage 2, that ourselves can relate to that, we can calmly listen and welcome them to stage 2 and reassure them that it's okay. They are descending into a valley that those in stage 3 we've passed through, and that the view and the summit from stage 3 is worth it. And so wherever you are in your journey, I can promise you that your life will be better. You will be happier. You will have greater peace and internal joy as you lean into your faith. And I sincerely hope that you find this useful and worthwhile as you move through your journey of faith, and that as you reach out to others in love with theirs. I've never done anything like this before, so I'm not sure exactly what to expect as I will look to upload this, but I'm happy to add my voice to so many others out there, encouraging and seeking to lift up others to find the joy and peace that comes in leaning into our faith and learning about having faith in a loving God and a kind God and a forgiving Father in heaven.